Hello everyone! For today's video, I will make a list of the best new Metroidvania games you should play in early 2026. Just a heads up, since there aren't many Metroidvania releases this early in the year, this list will also include a few titles you might have missed from late 2025, plus some new Metroidvanias that are set to release very soon, even as early as next month. Well, let's get into the list. Some indie games feel less like entertainment and more like emotional therapy. They tell personal stories through strange worlds and unusual gameplay. And that brings us to a strange and emotional Metroidvania, The Perfect Pencil. In this game, you play as John, a character with a camera for a head and no memories, who wakes up in a bizarre land. With no clear answers, John moves forward trying to escape the world and maybe understand himself along the way. One of the coolest features is John's camera head. You can scan objects and characters to read flavor text and inner thoughts. Some scans push the story forward, but many exist just to show John's mental state and the emotional weight of the world. The symbolism is heavy but powerful. VELASTER is not a game that tries to impress you right away. At first, the controls feel unusual, the combat is slow and heavy, and the difficulty can hit hard. This is not a casual pick-up-and-play game, but once you spend time with it, you start to see its real strength. The combat never feels mindless, every fight is about timing and position. Boss battles punish mistakes fast, so you must learn enemy patterns and improve with each try, truly living up to its Souls-inspired design. That influence also shows in the visuals. Instead of flashy colors, VELASTER embraces a dark and moody atmosphere. The world feels mysterious and heavy, like it's hiding deeper secrets the further you explore. Beholgar 2 is a classic Metroidvania adventure inspired by old-school games from the 90s. Just like old-school games, the story feels weird in a charming way. Prisoners give confusing explanations, dragons appear trapped behind laser walls with no reason, and everything is delivered with serious tone. These strange moments make the world feel dreamlike and unique. The game's difficulty also ramps up fast. This game will challenge you early and doesn't let you relax until you've earned more upgrades. It can be frustrating, but that's part of its identity. Unfortunately, there are some rough edges. The controls feel different from most Metroidvanias and take time to get used to, and there are also a few bugs. Tearscape is a lovely indie game made by just one developer, and you can really feel the care put into it. It mixes ideas from Zelda, Dark Souls, and Metroidvania games into one unique adventure. The combat is slow and thoughtful, more like Dark Souls than fast action games. Enemies clearly show their attacks, so success comes from patience and timing. Furthermore, exploration and the nostalgic Game Boy Color style visuals are the game's biggest strengths. It clearly takes inspiration from classic Zelda titles, mixed with a darker Souls-like atmosphere. The game never feels too long, and the boss fights improve as you progress, often encouraging you to use new gadgets in clever ways, just like old-school Zelda design. Solateria is a hand-drawn action Metroidvania that focuses on parry-based combat. In Solateria, you play as Tot, a small fire warrior on a mission to find the primordial flame, the only power that can stop a deadly disaster called the Shadow Plague. The game's combat is all about timing. When you time your parry perfectly, you trigger a powerful counterattack called the Pyron action, often with a slow motion effect that makes every hit feel extra satisfying. The world of Solateria is fully hand-drawn, inspired by the studio's previous game, Lapin. The developer spent years polishing the art, using special lighting and effects to make each area feel rich, colorful, and alive, while still keeping the game running smoothly. I would describe Crimson Capes like finding a brand new band with their very first song. You can feel the potential right away. It's not perfect yet, but you can feel that something special is growing here. The the first thing that stands out is the art style. The pixel art is detailed and beautiful, and every area feels carefully designed. The map looks different from most Metroidvanias, with a unique perspective that makes exploring feel fresh and exciting. Exploration feels a lot like the beginning of Dark Souls. The game drops you into the world and lets you figure out where to go on your own. You experiment, get lost a little, and slowly learn the best path forward. It's not a huge open world, but it feels adventurous and mysterious in a really fun way. Little Nemo and the Guardians of Slumberland is a Metroidvania that takes you into a colorful, imaginative world straight out of a child's dream. You play as Nemo, exploring strange and colorful regions while fighting creatures born from bad dreams. As you travel, you collect Nemo's favorite toys, and each toy gives you new abilities. These powers help you move faster, reach new areas, and fight enemies in creative ways. There are also fun collectibles like pajamas and little buddies that reward exploration and curiosity. The game is designed to be friendly for new players, but still challenging for hardcore Metroidvania fans who want a tougher experience. And to top it all off, the soundtrack is made by Anamanaguchi, giving the adventure a magical and energetic vibe. Scrabdackle is a hand-drawn adventure game made by just one developer, and honestly, it feels like a passion project that went all in. You may come for the beautiful hand-drawn art, but you'll stay because the world, the story, and the adventure completely pull you in. Exploration in this game is really well designed. You'll often return to old areas with new abilities and suddenly find new paths, shortcuts, and secret rooms. That classic Metroidvania feeling is strong here, and it's very satisfying. In addition to that, the humor is silly and fun, with a cast of weird characters like living peanuts and extremely angry ducks. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and that makes the journey even more enjoyable. While it leans more toward a Roguevania, Nevergrave, the Witch, and the Curse still looks exciting and definitely worth checking out. You play as a witch who is controlled by a cursed hat. The coolest feature is the possession system. Your cursed hat can take over enemies and let you use their powers. One moment you're fighting them, and the next moment you're using their abilities to move faster, attack harder, or reach new areas. After each run, you return to a ruined village that slowly becomes your home base. You can rebuild it, grow crops, craft potions, and unlock upgrades that make your next adventure easier and stronger. You can also play with friends. Up to 4 players can team up in co-op mode and explore the dangerous dungeons together. Not gonna lie, I never expected there to be a Metroidvania about God of War that focuses on Kratos during his teenage years. At its core, Sons of Sparta is a Metroidvania, but a very average one. You run, jump, push objects, and fight monsters across colorful areas, but everything feels slow and repetitive. The combat is the most interesting part, but also the most frustrating. Kratos uses a spear and shield instead of his iconic blades. You mostly mash one attack combo, build up a spirit meter, and then use special attacks to stun enemies and finish them off. All in all, God of War Sons of Sparta isn't a bad game, but it's not great either.
Be ready for Sparta!
Fallen Tier. The Ascension is the first game from Winter Crew, and it's a Metroidvania inspired by Southeast Asian folklore, anime, and classic JRPGs. The main character is Hira, and his design is inspired by Greed from Full Metal Alchemist. Like most Metroidvania heroes, Hira grows stronger over time by unlocking new abilities, but Fallen Tier adds something special with its companion system called Fated Bonds. As you explore the world, you can meet and befriend different characters and recruit them into your party. These companions can be summoned in battle to help you attack, heal, or use special skills. You can also build relationships with them, and when certain characters fight together, they can perform powerful combo attacks. Kotama and Academy Citadel is an anime-style Metroidvania filled with cute anime girls. Where the game becomes interesting is the combat. You can use 3 weapons, and 2 of them are optional. You can switch weapons in the middle of a fight. Enemies get covered in something called chronofluid, and when you use a heavy attack, they explode for big damage and even heal you a little. Furthermore, exploration is a huge part of the game. If you only follow the main story, you can finish it pretty quickly, but if you do side quests and hunt for collectibles, it will take much longer. And honestly, that's where the game shines. The map is medium-sized, but filled with hidden rooms and secrets that make you want to keep exploring. Emberbane is a Metroidvania inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender. The gameplay is fast, brutal, and stylish. You don't just swing a sword or cast magic, you will mix 4 elements into every move. Imagine jumping into the air, freezing an enemy, dashing through them with fire, and finishing with a lightning strike in just 2 seconds. Enemies are also aggressive, they surround you, predict your moves, and punish you if you repeat the same strategy. On top of that, every boss fight feels like a moving puzzle that tests your reflexes and your understanding of elemental weaknesses. In short, Emberbane turns elemental combat into a high-speed test of skill and creativity that keeps every fight exciting.
Carry my justice. Let thy flame give light, where mine can no longer reach.
Great news for Metroidvania fans! GRIME 2 is launching soon on March 31st. In GRIME 2, you play as a Formless, a being that steals enemy shapes and powers. You absorb creatures, summon their forms, and use them to fight and explore a strange and dangerous world. Looking at the demo, parrying in GRIME 2 is no longer just a defense move. It's now a core part of your character build. There is a new stat called Pliability that increases your parry damage. So, if you love perfect timing and counterattacks, you can build your whole character around parrying. The skill tree has also been redesigned. You can change your traits at checkpoints anytime, giving you full freedom to experiment with different playstyles. Before we go to the number 1 on this list, I want to give a quick honorable mention. Tomba 2, The Evil Swine Return, a game straight from my childhood, has finally received a modern port. Now, I'm not even sure if this game truly counts as a Metroidvania, but in my memory, it absolutely followed that formula, exploring new areas, completing events, and coming back later with new abilities. So even if it doesn't fit the genre perfectly, it still deserves a spot here for nostalgia alone. Mio feels like a perfect mix of Ori Will of the Wisps and Hollow Knight. Honestly, this game is a serious contender for Metroidvania of the Year. The movement feels a lot like Ori. You get big floaty jumps, and many areas are full of deadly spikes and thorn traps. Later in the game, the platforming becomes really hard. Good news though, the hardest parts are mostly optional if you just want the easiest ending. Now, a warning. If you hate long walks back to bosses, losing currency when you die, or permanent HP loss in the story, this game might frustrate you. There is one boss where the run back takes about 45 seconds on an elevator, and the boss can kill you in just 2 hits. You will die a lot before learning its attack patterns. It's painful, but also very rewarding once you finally win. That's all for today's list. Subscribe and like for more new exciting Metroidvania games. That's it, and see you next time.